DNVR Broncos live, coming to you from Studio A here at the DNVR Bar, and presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Check out DraftKings Sportsbook. Use the code DNVR when you sign up. And today the A stands for absolute home run.
Oh, Paton.
Oh, that could have worked.
Hey, once we allowed that last week, it's now allowed moving forward.
Thank you. I've been campaigning for that for many months now.
Well, Henry bought into it last week, and I gave pushback. But hey, if it's I understand we're a democracy here.
Better than absolute, and then just fill in the blank.
So he hates what you just did today. Is
I
what
did
he's
hate
saying.
it.
He's attacking you.
Absolute. It'd have to just be absolute. I feel like you can't tack another word on.
Well, that's what he did today, though.
Yeah,
I don't hate is a strong word.
Okay, Nathaniel Hackett.
Oh yeah, seriously. Wow, what a 24 hours it's been for the Denver Broncos, and it finally feels like stability has set in. For weeks now, it has felt like chaos, but the last 24 hours have been comforting, and it's nice to see Broncos Country all fired up again. A record number of views for us. Highest Broncos YouTube show ever.
Go,
yesterday.
baby.
So shout out to
Let's
everyone who made that possible. Shout out to everyone who hit us with a like. And by the way, 500 likes today. Henry has to shotgun a beer. Join the club.
The vibes were so good yesterday. It felt like nothing. And then I was sitting in the Starbucks line this morning, and I remembered that I'd said that, and I was like, oh, that would actually kind of suck if that happens. But if it happens, I'm happy. No, I would never back out.
Still in. He's like, I'm happy, but don't hit us with a thumbs up, is essentially what he's saying.
Yeah, so
do hit us with a thumbs up.
They also gave me this Trenta because they had to change the keg. And they're like, it's going to take like 2 minutes. Do you want to wait? And I was like, I don't care. 2 minutes? Sure. Yeah, whatever. And so they're like, here, we gave you the biggest one because we made you wait. I was like, no, this is going to ruin my day now.
You say that.
Don't finish it.
Every other day.
Who do you think I am?
Every
like
other
a
day,
magician?
they upgraded me to a bigger size. Poor
I know,
me.
and I can't handle that much. Nobody needs that much.
When I started drinking cold brew, they wouldn't even allow you to order a Trenta cold brew.
I didn't even think they'd let you do just iced coffee or any coffee drink.
It's messed up.
What do you think they would give Trenta? Water?
Teas. I think it was a rule at first because it was potentially too dangerous, too much caffeine.
Well, we know Henry needs it, so. Since I brought up that you would have to shotgun, we've doubled the likes.
Oh, yeah. Baby, let's go.
Yeah, we're at 69. 69, great number. Maybe leave it there.
Oh,
what about
actually,
that's
669?
I don't know.
There we go. And you guys know how there's back in the day, when was this? 10 years ago, there's Facebook official.
Wow, that's a throwback.
The Denver Broncos and Sean Payton appear to be Twitter official, which is which means it's official, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Here,
have
do we
the
have
Broncos
that?
not sent out an official press release yet?
No, they've sent out two things. One is that they're quote unquote adding a visor to their cart because Sean Payton's a visor guy.
Good tweet.
And then this morning, what they did was they did the Spider-Man pointing at each other, and it was Payton, and Payton, the three different Paytons.
Yep.
That's it. That's where we're at right now.
A lot of people out there saying they took that idea from me off of my Payton guide that I put out this morning.
Tell me about this
that.
Payton guide.
I just did X's next to all the incorrect spellings and then check marks next to the correct spellings. And multiple people tagged me in the Broncos thing, and they were like, Ryan did it first. And I wanted to defend the Broncos account because I know they're a little sensitive. So I said, it's not the same. This is fair play.
They're going to come after you.
No.
They're going to dunk on you. And here we go. This is how it is. Twitter official. Sean Payton getting the Broncos logo and stadium and helmet on the Twitter profile.
Did he buy his blue check?
Maybe.
Wow. I would guess no, actually.
But probably afford it, right?
He could probably afford it.
Zach, your light's on.
Oh, thank you.
Nice. What if we all agree just to never say the word Payton on this podcast? It's always Sean, Manning, and George.
No.
It was worth a try.
You could do GP, SP, and PFM.
George's full names.
What?
George Payton, Sean Payton, Peyton Manning. I don't like that they're all named Payton. I know it's like a fun, like you get to make jokes. It's just confusing.
Well, deal with it because this is Peyton's place now. The Mile High City is Peyton's place.
Which
Everyone's.
Everyone's. This is Peyton's place.
Peyton Town, USA.
Yeah, it really is. And pretty good thing to be drawing off of.
If you were going to spell it out and you were saying Peyton Town, USA, which spelling would you use?
You have to do the real Peyton.
Yeah,
And
I
do you know
agree.
who the real Peyton is
No.
in this town?
PFM.
Paton?
Yes, yes. PFM.
I was trying to think of like a different sport athlete who might have had the name Peyton, and I couldn't think of any.
Gary Payton.
But he didn't play in Denver.
Oh.
You know what's good is I haven't seen the Chiefs try to take PFM.
Oh,
They
my
could.
God.
It's gonna happen, too.
It's going to. On Sunday, it was the first time I had that realization. I was like, oh, God, they're going to try this.
All it takes is you saying this
Yeah,
on
don't
this
put- I
show
know, don't
just
put-
for one
this
person.
Is, Hank,
just needs-
despite you cheering for the Chiefs,
I'm
there's
not
not
cheering for
any
the Chiefs.
Chiefs fans here.
I'm not cheering for the Chiefs. There are 212 people, plus the three of us in here. 215 people right now have that thought in their brain that did not have it 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It's
Don't
dangerous.
spread it.
Ah.
PF Chang's already tried to steal PF.
What? Wouldn't they have been the original PF?
I would
No,
imagine.
no,
no, they came after Manning.
Wow. You could tell me that PF Chang started any time and I believe it. But up until like 2008.
Okay, I was gonna say I definitely went to a PF Chang's latest 2004.
I would have
Okay.
guessed they've been here my whole life.
Yeah, I would guess.
too.
Yeah.
But I would also, like, if you said they started in like the 50s, I'd be like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, exactly. I could buy that too.
Totally.
You can probably like garner a little bit based off of the fact that they have those giant statues out front.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That wouldn't happen anytime after, I would guess, 2005.
Nobody's paying for that stuff.
Yeah,
now it's all
exactly.
minimalist.
Right,
Now it's
exactly.
just like, we just need blank. We want everything to be blank because that's cool now.
Big pushback on Twitter recently for a minimalist house design.
Yeah, they're bad.
I think it's great.
Do you think Peyton's gonna have a minimalist house design?
Stop
here?
it.
Do you think
We don't know who
he
that is.
Is going to have? You know who it is.
The only one who's getting
No,
a new
that's-
house in Colorado.
Yes, exactly. See, Ryan's.
There
Ryan's
could be
with me.
moving.
Also, Jose with what about Peyton Hillis?
Oh,
Oh.
Peyton Town,
Yeah.
USA. Peyton Hillis.
Happy Peyton's doing better too.
Yes, he
by the
is.
way,
I was-
really
What a
nice to hear.
Crazy story,
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
It really was, and I mean, saved his kids, and then in the hospital for 2 weeks or something like that.
And thank God he's okay because
Yeah.
we've already lost far too many people far too young in Broncos.
Yeah,
We have.
yeah, absolutely. Peyton, the new Peyton.
Sean.
Sean, thank you.
Payton.
Just use 1st names.
I'll help
Is,
Henry
he,
with
is,
this.
he gonna,
You know,
is he gonna have a statue?
no.
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 I mean, the easy
No,
money's
wow.
on no.
One person
So
who has a
then-
statue, and it's Pat Bowlen.
So then you don't think he's worth that many wins?
No, I do.
I mean, I just don't think he can have the longevity.
I think
He'd
like
have to win 3 Super Bowls.
I think 3 Super Bowls is where you start talking about it, and I don't think that's going to happen.
This is a new era of people deciding who gets statues and who doesn't.
Does Walmart?
That would make me sick.
What if Walmart owns PF Chang's? Maybe they're all just big statue people.
True.
Statues everywhere.
Could be.
You have to at least surpass the accomplishments of those that came before you to enter the statue conversation.
There's like
So-
the clear line. 2 Super Bowls did not get Mike Shanahan a statue.
Didn't you? It took him like 20 years to get into the Ring of Fame.
Yeah.
New people making decisions, guys. New people.
I know, but I'm saying you have to retroactively make right before you can elevate your guys.
Do you guys realize that Sean Payton is now the first official person of the Walton Penner Group? They are the first person to officially put their stamp on him. Russell Wilson was traded here before. Sure, they gave him the contract, but he was here. They had to give him the contract, whether it was last year, whether it was this year. They were going to sign him up. George Payton was already here. Nathaniel Hackett, they already kicked out. Sean Payton is the first official big stamp of approval that they're putting on someone.
It's a nice start, and I think it paves the way for what this could look like. Did you guys see that weird Fox Sports tweet?
I didn't understand how it was weird.
It was just so random what they cherry picked to put in there.
Yeah. Someone said it was so disrespectful to the Broncos. I didn't take it that way. I mean, it was all like big-ish things.
It was engagement mining for people to dunk on the Broncos.
Oh, okay. So essentially what they did was, what'd they say? Since the Walton Penner Group took over,
It was like the Broncos have been making moves recently or something.
and it was like the Russell Wilson contract.
Yeah.
It was
the field.
Yeah, it was spending $400,000 on a new field, $100 million on the stadium upgrade, now trading for Sean Payton.
Yeah, it was weird.
I just don't. Yeah, just weird.
Yeah, I didn't think
Just-
it was them really dunking on him.
It wasn't. It was a lob.
Okay.
It wasn't a dunk. It was a
well,
lob.
then did they throw that lob down when I believe it was this morning they had their crew go around and say, Broncos Country, let's ride.
That's a dunk. That's just a dunk.
See, I think so.
That one's a dunk.
That's where they're
That's
throwing
literally
it down.
equivalent of like doing the Super Bowl shuffle after the Bears go 3-14. That's how old Let's Ride is.
Wow.
Well, you know what? The Broncos are going to have an opportunity to completely shut up the rest of the country if Sean Payton is able to do what the Broncos hope he's able to do.
Yep.
And if he's able to turn Russell Wilson around, then the entire NFL is going to have that 1 year where they just dunked on Russell Wilson. But if Russell Wilson comes out and is 6-2 at the beginning of this season, then they finish with double-digit wins, then the Let's Ride thing isn't going to be disrespectful anymore.
It's true, but Let's Ride is dead, and we've moved on to something new, which we haven't discovered yet.
Or just nothing new.
Yeah, it could be nothing.
Yeah,
as well.
that's okay.
But there's always something like United in Orange.
You guys want to know something crazy? Is Let's Ride is actually not the first time riding has been a thing in Denver. When the Broncos made the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 48, their slogan, which I even forgot until my fiance brought it up to me, "Time to ride."
That's right. Yeah.
Let's just put away all riding.
It's kind of tough when you're a horse. Like when you're thinking of horse-related puns.
When you think of Broncos, that's a wild horse. No one rides it anyway.
Well, that's that. It's like that's what you try to do, because like it's like, can you break the Broncos? It's like bull riding.
To me, it's like the wrong thing. Like other teams are trying to ride the wild Bronco.
I see what you're saying.
So like,
So if you're
like,
playing the Colts, then
my
it's time to ride.
my Broncos can never be mounted.
A lot of people have been trying to mount your Broncos, Ryan.
I know.
Over this past year.
I know, but in my world, there's no mounting these wild Broncos.
And they haven't
I don't
been
know
able to.
about this.
The Broncos haven't been able to buck them off. Unfortunately, they're
No.
bringing Sean Payton in to do that. Speaking of literal maybe not literal Broncos, but Bucky the Bronco, the horse that is on top of the stadium,
Yes.
has been brought down right now as they are in the process of completely taking down the old Jumbotron to bring in the new one.
Okay, huge missed opportunity unless they're going to.
Okay.
Set up like an Instagram booth for people to come take pictures with Bucky.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that would be good.
Also, like while he's down, increase the package a little bit.
What?
Is it not big enough?
Yeah, just might as well make it a little bigger.
Are you,
You don't think it's
literally
big
talking
enough?
about the package?
Yeah.
How big is it,
They
Ryan?
have
I
it
don't
on
know.
there?
Then how can you say that you need it to be bigger?
Just should.
What if it's already really big?
I mean, in terms of compared to reality, it probably is.
That reminds me of Drew Lock for some reason. Anyways, we don't have to worry about Drew Lock.
Yeah, I was already thinking of names for Brock Purdy. If he made it to the Super Bowl and won.
I'm glad we don't have to do that.
I'm glad we don't too.
We might
Sounds
never
like he's
hear
gonna be
about
out
him.
for a long
Yeah.
time.
Man, it sucks for him. And it honestly sucks for Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers, the situation they're in,
Yes.
with just their quarterback situation way up in the air.
Also, congratulations to a man who helped the Broncos to 3 playoff wins. Tom Brady retired today.
Is he done?
Officially, yep, he's done.
I think he's done.
And we have nothing but appreciation for him here because he just helped the Broncos get to Super Bowls.
What is just insane is he was 500 against the Broncos.
Yep.
The
Yeah.
And he
literal...
padded that up against shit teams the last couple times.
Yeah.
He did 1-3 in the playoffs against the Broncos. How about that?
The only Denver Broncos quarterback Tom Brady could ever defeat in the playoffs was Tim Tebow.
Well,
How about that?
did Peyton only beat him twice,
Peyton
right?
beat him twice, and Jake Plummer beat him
Oh,
once.
Plummer got
Yep,
him. Okay.
In Denver.
Of course.
Champ Bailey
yeah. There you
also
go.
got him.
Yep.
He did get him.
Yep. So I mean that makes it easier to respect him, and also another huge shout out to Tom for retiring is it looked like he was going to become a Raider. And you can say what you want about the last game he played, and that would have just simply been really bad news for the Broncos, because then it's like, okay, they're moving on from Derek Carr to Tom Brady. That's an upgrade.
Is it,
Josh
though?
McDaniels? Yes, it would have
I don't think it would be.
Look at what Tom Brady did this year. You cannot just base what Tom Brady
But
did
Derek
on the
Carr-
very last game of the season.
Derek Carr's solid.
Yeah, but Tom Brady is way better than solid.
I don't think he's that much
There
better
was-
than
You're
at this
crazy.
point. No,
There was
You
a
are
lot of
crazy.
games this year where Tom Brady didn't do anything until like the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter.
And he did it. And,
Yes,
and
for
he
sure.
did it. So I personally
that's only
think
sustainable
that
for
would
so
have been really bad for the Broncos. And now, not only is it he's off the table, but now the Raiders are just looking like absolute clowns. And Josh McDaniels doing what he did with the Broncos. He's coming in here, blowing out a good quarterback with, I mean, are they going to go now get Jimmy G? Okay, is that even an
No,
upgrade?
that's a downgrade.
So I
That is
mean,
definitely
it
a
just,
downgrade.
thank you, Tom, for not allowing that.
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, really.
yeah, he sucks. He does really suck.
Yep. Also has a losing record against the Broncos in the playoffs, I'm sure.
Broncos have the fill in the blank best the number blank best coach in the division.
Two.
Yeah, I agree, and I don't think it's close.
No,
in terms of
in
the
either
gap
direction.
between 2 and 3. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
He
There's
said
a
in
clear
either
number
direction,
2.
It's not close.
Oh, I mean, for now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I do think probably closer to Andy Reid than the guy says it's got to be Brandon Staley 3, but still not really that
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
There's actually probably fairly big gaps between every single spot.
Probably. Wow.
Staley's down there.
No, I
Josh
don't-
McDaniels
he
is
just-
so
he just
far
went to-
down there.
He went to the playoffs this year. Josh McDaniels is so much further away from.
He might be
Brandon
the
Staley.
worst coach in the NFL.
Yes,
It's possible for sure.
he very well may be.
I think he'd
And
be my
Brandon
pick.
Staley did make the playoffs.
Brandon Staley's underachieving.
Oh yeah, he's bad. But again, that's why there's a clear gap between him and Sean Payton.
You guys scared, right?
Also, a
exactly.
clear gap between him and Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels is terrible.
It's already begun, by the way. I think it was Cowherd who said Chargers 2024 Super Bowl champs. Or
Of course,
when
of
they
course.
hired Kellen
That's what they say.
That's
No, maybe Skip Bayless since he loves the Cowboys.
anyone checking on Colin Cowherd past few days? Man, if he just would have stuck with his original take, 2 weeks ago,
Yeah,
where he's
whatever.
saying Sean Payton's going to be a great fit with the Broncos, exactly what Russell Wilson needs. The two sides have talked; they both love each other. It's like, oh, Colin, you would have been right. Until last week, he just went on to absolutely trash the Broncos and everything about them, and said how there's no way Sean Payton should go there.
I just assume anything he did, he was just doing what Sean Payton told him to do. So
Could've been.
maybe it was some sort of negotiating ploy or whatever.
Well, and Sean Payton was not the biggest fan that the Broncos went and flew out to Ann Arbor last week to meet with Jim Harbaugh. That is one of the reasons, from my understanding, why this thing kind of took more time than it needed to come together.
Bad look, in my opinion.
For who?
The Broncos.
Sure, yeah. I mean, if especially now that he is your guy.
If we're to believe the reporting from you, which I obviously am biased, but I'm going to believe what you said, which is that
you.
this has been going on for 2 weeks and
Yeah.
they've been, deep in conversations. It's a bad look to then go and kind of like circle someone back in.
You were more interviews guy though.
I know, but I'm just saying if you're like in the process of
have-
negotiating with
yeah.
someone, and that's kind of the way it was made out, then to bring someone else in, I think is a bad look. It could have been a negotiating play on the Broncos side.
Or they just didn't know if they were going to get him. And so you don't just stop the search and wait,
That's fair.
That's
fair. And I was in favor of more interviews, but that's when also it felt like a bunch of people were out.
Now, I don't, I'm not reporting this, but maybe that's why Sean then went and set up an interview with the Cardinals, was to say,
Yeah.
oh, F you, you're going to go talk to someone else? I'm going to go talk to someone else.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what Sean did that probably hurt him a little bit is right after he was done with the Cardinals interview, he hops on Twitter and quote tweets a report saying he didn't like the Broncos and said, no, I love them. They're absolutely fantastic. I mean, that was literally, some people thought he was still in the meeting with the Cardinals when he tweeted that.
He's like, hold on. I gotta handle this really quick. Then the Cardinals representatives have Sean Payton tweet notifications on.
Right.
And they're like,
Is he announcing that he's signing with the Cardinals right now?
No.
by the way, if you want to feel better about the Broncos hiring Sean Payton, go look at the reaction of the people in Phoenix for not getting Sean Payton.
My goodness, I'm feeling bad for, our PHNX, we had Johnny Venerable on him 6 weeks ago, and he was down in the dumps. I think he may be lower now.
His tweets are depressing, but literally,
depressing.
like, I thought maybe, like, I could tell he really liked Sean Payton.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe it was unique to Johnny that he was so down bad about this. Oh no.
It's more.
All of Arizona is down bad over Sean Payton.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Could you imagine, though, if the Broncos had lost out on Sean Payton to the Cardinals? That'd be so brutal. That would be
Would've
so
been.
embarrassing.
I would have just written it off to weather.
All right. Well, for the rest of us, it'd be pretty shitty.
Well, because then
Earmuffs.
on top of that, Hank, then it also would have been the Broncos losing D'Amico Ryans to the Texans, and then you
Yeah.
lose to the Cardinals and the Texans.
Yep.
But
2 teams you beat last year.
Oh,
the Texans
my
I could write off
gosh.
easier than the Cardinals, though. Like, at least there's, like, the ties, there's the history, and you're just like, yeah, okay.
Sean Payton was living in Arizona, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's just a rich people kind of thing.
And speaking of New Orleans fans, we have Tara coming in and says, look at the fans of New Orleans, how they're
Oh, yeah.
reacting to this. They're not, I wouldn't say like sad and bummed that they lost Sean, but they are so happy for Sean. They're so happy for the Broncos. And I got to say, a huge shout out. I know we have a lot of Saints fans tuning in right now, just like we had a lot of Seahawks fans tuning in when the Broncos got Russell Wilson. Yesterday, I read through a ton of the comments on YouTube after the fact. So many people tuning in, and we're happy to have you guys.
Yeah. How could they
and
not love
gals.
him? He won him a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody brings
But
a Super Bowl to New Orleans,
Let me tell you about a person named Russell Wilson who brought a Super Bowl to
that
Seattle.
is true.
Honestly,
But again, that's different. Like,
you know
Sean
what?
Payton was the driving force.
you know what I
He
think
was
it
the guy.
honestly is?
Huh.
People from the South are awesome. Like,
Huh.
the same
I
thing
hadn't
happened.
heard that.
Same thing happened with Coach Prime. Like, there were some people upset about him leaving. Our comment section every single day is full of Jackson State fans who are
Yeah.
just so happy for Coach Prime, so happy for the Buffs. They're like, I'm jumping on the Buffs bandwagon. And the reason I thought of it is just because it was almost the same energy from the Saints fans. They're just like a lot more gracious. I think the Pacific Northwest is a little bit stuck up. Yeah,
Oh, wow. Calling
I think
them
they're
out.
owed.
I cannot speak to any of that.
Well, you know what?
Is it Montana?
It's kind of its own thing.
It's just north.
Mountains.
Mountains,
Yeah.
mountain people.
Because I was telling someone I've never been to the Pacific Northwest, and then I was like, "Well, I have been to Montana. Does that count?" And they said no. So
No, I don't think so. You know what would help?
Pacific is the ocean, you know?
right.
You know what would help everyone, regardless of if you're stuck up, if you're just a good person.
Oh, boy.
Athletic Greens. It's just gonna make
Oh.
everyone feel. Maybe that's what they're missing out there is some Athletic Greens. It'll make them feel better in the morning. Make sure to get yourself some AG. And of course, Athletic Greens. What they do is in one scoop that you take in the morning, it packs 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help get your day started right. It's going to help with gut health. It's going to get you all those vitamins you need. Instead of having to take so many pills, you're going to get daily nutrition in there in one scoop to start your day off. It's going to get you greens, everything you need. We love Athletic Greens. We all take it in the morning. And if you want to join us in that, make sure to check out athleticgreens.com/Broncos. And when you go there and purchase with athleticgreens.com/Broncos, you're going to get 1 free year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs. You guys got your travel packs packed for next week?
Oh,
yeah.
I'm going to have to do that.
Yep. So make sure to check them out over at athleticgreens.com/Broncos.
I also made sure our PHNX friends had a backup stash in the office.
That's true. That's true. We're going to be there.
Oh yeah, it's like a 5-minute walk from the Super Bowl Media Center to the PHNX office.
Really?
Are we going to go to the stadium at all? Is there anything there?
When you go to the Super Bowl, there's an event for literally everything. There's probably a stadium tour.
That's
you want
true.
to go
That's
to
true.
it.
Because from my understanding, everything is in one area outside of the stadium.
Yeah, it's kind of
for
weird. I
where
don't like
this is.
I don't like. This is why I think a Super Bowl in Denver would be amazing, because everything in Denver is centralized.
Right.
When I went to the worst one was the Broncos Super Bowl 50. The practices were and interviews were in Santa Clara.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl Media Center was in downtown San Francisco. The media night party was at the San Jose Sharks Stadium. It was like you're always in an hour bus ride. The only good thing was that in a rare occurrence, they actually took care of the media and gave us police escorts on buses anywhere
That
we
is
went.
pretty cool.
Wow.
Only police escort you've ever had?
Yes, the answer is yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't try to big time me here, Ryan.
No.
Oh.
My great uncle
Okay.
was buried at Arlington National Cemetery.
Okay.
So
Fair.
as part of the
There you go.
Very cool.
Damn.
proceeding. Is that what it's called?
Sure.
Maybe?
Yeah. You can pretty much say anything and I'll buy it.
What is that?
Anyway,
It's pro something. Procession.
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 Yes.
There we go.
Yep,
There.
yep.
But also, if you find yourself in a procession and maybe you're not in the situation, you're in the worst situation
Or
in the
if
whole
you
procession.
almost find yourself in a procession.
That would make it a lot easier to call
Yeah,
Baxton
it
Shanker
would,
if you
it
weren't
would.
actually. Yeah. But Baxton Shanker, they help you win when somebody harms you. So if you're in an accident that isn't your fault, whether it's like a car wreck, motorcycle, rideshare, if you're a pedestrian that gets hit by something like a truck, they will win you the money that you deserve for your inconvenience, I guess maybe is the word. Baxton Shanker, they don't charge you any money until they win your case, which is awesome. If you give them a call, then they will tell you if you have a case. And if you do, then they go through the entire process. And then when you win, that's when they get their cut. So you don't have to actually pay them any money until they win you your case, which is an awesome setup that feels like the right way to do things. Baxton Shanker has won over $1 billion for their clients in Colorado over the past more than 25 years. And they've got offices all over the state, including neighborhood offices in Denver, Aurora, Inglewood, and Fort Collins. They've got more than 30 lawyers. And if you call it 222-2222, you'll find out if you have a case for free. Baxton Shanker wins.
Our comment section is just fantastic. There's a push. 500 likes, and Henry shotgunning a beer on this Wednesday.
Yes.
I wasn't that worried about it either. I was like 500, I'm safe.
I wasn't worried about 1,000 yesterday.
Yeah, and now we're at
We got to,
213.
1,300 yesterday.
That 1,800.
well, before.
Oh, before. Yeah. Actually, I think we might have top 2,000, but you're right. Before, live on the show. And Cody, shout out to you. Shout out to everyone tuning in. Please hit us with a thumbs up. It really helps us. 5-star review if you're listening on the podcast form. It really helps us, and we appreciate you a lot.
Also, Cody was saying we can see if Henry can shotgun it faster than I. I was put in a bad situation.
Excuses already being built in.
So many.
The hole that I was given to shotgun out of was so tiny.
Wow.
Sure it was.
I took a picture.
Sure it was.
Actually, I can advocate for that.
Yeah.
And I know I can advocate because Mitch came up and said, no, this hole's really small. I'm sorry, my guy.
Why didn't
Yeah.
he make it bigger?
Yeah.
He was standing there with it for like a half hour, wasn't he?
Also,
I know.
he's building in the
He
excuse
set
before
me
he
up.
even knows the size of hole that you're going to have.
I know.
Well, he's probably going
Small
to be
hole
in
me.
control of it. 'cause
Give me
there's
a
no one down
small.
here to-
Give me a small hole.
You know
Small
what?
hole me.
We will
give you the size of a key.
we will
Okay.
officially iron this out next week in Arizona. I'm sure we're gonna have
There's beer?
plenty of chances to do that.
They do have beer in
They
Arizona.
do,
Yeah.
they
What a
do
place.
have beer. Probably
What's-
Breckenridge beer
What
as well.
time zone are they in?
Same one as ours.
Yep.
Even
The
right
exact
now?
Same time. Yep. That's why we will
But
be
not in the
going live at 1 p.m. Denver time next week. Also, Arizona time, if you care about that. So 2 hours ahead in the East Coast. So make sure that you're tuning in then when we're on Radio Row. Man, hopefully, and not hopefully, we will be getting some great insight on Radio Row as to Sean Payton, what he's going to do, the coaches he has, and just what to expect in Denver. So make sure to stay tuned for that week.
So
This is great
it's
news for us because there's just so many new guests that opened up.
Yep.
Anyone who's ever played for Sean Payton
Yep.
is now an option for us.
Oh, yeah.
It's coached with him.
I was going to say that. Like, we can probably look through the coaches
yeah.
of the two teams that are in the Super Bowl because on Super Bowl Media Night, every coach is also available. See
Yep.
if there's anyone that coached with him. Like, this is going to be fun.
Okay.
So, but wait, so it's the summer when they're an hour different than us.
Correct.
Oh,
Yep,
interesting.
yep,
But not
so
for long because
Yeah.
we're no longer
Then
doing
we'll
daylight
be
savings.
different than 48 other states.
I heard that it's actually the entire country.
I
is
heard
now
that too,
doing that.
and I think that's false.
I don't know. I think I believe it now, but we'll find that out.
Yeah.
Regardless of what time zone they're on, how many wins does Sean Payton bring to the Denver Broncos this year?
So I
Go ahead.
I wrote it. Go read it last week. How many wins did like a player or something cost the Broncos? How many wins did they cost them? And I had the coaching as costing the Broncos 3 wins. I think if with average coaching, they would have won 3 more games last year. Sean Payton, to me, better than average coach. And that's why, like, I think even 5 games is reasonable. But I'm going to say 4. I'm going to say he's worth 4 more wins, but I do think they make so many changes to this roster that you get another win there as well.
There we go, Henry. And I trust you. Yes. But I trust someone that knows Sean Payton even better. A guy that played with him for 5 years, I believe, under him. Luke McCown tweeted yesterday, I've said it before, and you can't say it about every coach. Sean Payton will win 4+ more games just because he's the head coach. He's that kind of a difference maker in his approach to the game and how he structures his game plan, calls plays, feels the game, and understands the team. So I'm giving at least 4 right off the bat. Because
I thought Drew Brees was the only reason they ever won games.
Yeah, this backup quarterback would disagree with that. Luke would disagree with that. And so just from that, the Broncos go from 5 wins to 9 wins. But then on top of that, we mentioned this yesterday, how the Broncos were in so many close games. And when you take a step back, I don't like doing if this play happened here, the Broncos should be a 10-win team. So I don't like doing that for when you're in the season, the nitty-gritty on, you should keep the coach because of this. But when you take a step back, how close the Broncos were, I'm going to take the over on 4. I'm gonna say that the Broncos are going to double their wins this year.
Just
based on Sean Payton. So I think that they're going to be. I'm gonna put not the floor, but I think the realistic low bar is 9 wins for this team.
Wow.
So I like it at 9. Easily see them getting to 10 just because of Sean. And of course, that has a lot to do with just how much he's gonna help turn Russell Wilson around too.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things where I must admit I am afraid of expectations now. So I don't know what to do with this. I do look at Drew Brees, completing 68% of his passes under Sean Payton for 15 years, not just one good season where he completed almost 70% of his passes. Like, the way that Sean Payton makes a quarterback efficient is otherworldly. And on top of that, this is a guy who's seen every single scenario. He's been in every scenario. He's been in 4th and 1 from the 45 with 30 seconds left, down 2. And it's like, do you kick this long field goal or do you go for it? He's going to have the decision. He's going to have done it before, and he's going to have a philosophy as to how they approach these opportunities. And that alone, I think, is worth a couple wins. Just the understanding coaching and not having to learn on the fly like every Broncos coach since Gary Kubiak.
Yep.
And then I think the scheme and the offense is worth another 2 wins. So I'm at 4, and I think we might be a little conservative.
Yeah, I think so too. But I'm kind of also taking your approach, Ryan. Even saying 9 or 10, I don't want to build it up too much because 10 months ago we were in this exact same position, and I think everyone in the time understandably got ahead of themselves of where it was going to be. And to be fair, no one saw the drop-off of Russell Wilson that was coming. So I think it will be a failed season if they don't get 8 wins. So I'm not going to say they have to have a winning season for it not to be a failure. But if they get 7 wins, that is a massive failure with this. I think 8 would be, that's a 3-game jump. In one season, that is big time. That is a big jump. Then you can play this game. Okay, then in one more year, if you take another 3 wins and take another jump, okay, then you're an 11-win team. But I really do think it's going to be 4 wins. A winning record for the first time since 2016. If they make the playoffs, it'll be the first time they made the playoffs since 2015. And the last time the Broncos hired a coach with previous head coaching experience, they won the Super Bowl with him. And I'm not saying that they're going to win the Super Bowl in the first year with Sean Payton, but it does show you, Ryan, how much experience as a head coach helps you just take off right away. You hit the ground running. You don't have to worry about, okay, are we going to practice hard in training camp? Are we not? Are we playing our starters in the preseason? And then that's even before you get to the 4th and 1 with 2 minutes left.
So
it's before those. There's so many other
music
things.
At practice?
Yeah, exactly. And it's things that with a first-time head coach, people question. People outside the facility question. We talk about. But then that also bleeds into the players. They probably question, like, this is his first time doing this. This is a little weird. Are we actually buying into this? With Sean Payton or any coach, that's had success as a head coach in the past, and that's a key, had success. You can't just be a head coach. Like the Raiders, they have to be questioning what the hell Josh McDaniels is doing because, yes, he's been a head coach, but he has not had success as a head coach. So those players question it. Now you bring credibility, you bring stability, and it's going to bleed over, not just to the players, but the entire organization.
I want to bring something up because I think it relates to this conversation about how many wins Sean Payton is worth. And it was in my mentions yesterday, and I saw it a couple different places, which is the idea, someone said something along the lines of, if it's all about winning Super Bowls, players win Super Bowls, and so the picks are worth more than the coach. And I couldn't disagree more.
Oh.
I think coaches win Super Bowls. Players win games. Coaches win Super Bowls, in my opinion. And I think a perfect example would be like, in my opinion, if you look at the Bills roster, I think it's the most talented. But they haven't been able to get past better coached teams. And I'm not saying Sean McDermott is a bad coach. I just don't know if he's the coach to get them over. And if you look at, who's won Super Bowls recently, it was Sean McVay last year. Year before that would have been Bruce Arians. Year before that would have been Andy Reid.
Yep.
Year before that would have been
Bill?
Was it? Yeah. No, was that the Eagles?
Yes, it was the Eagles.
Doug
and then
Peterson.
Bill. Yep.
And you almost you've seen teams win the Super Bowl with a lesser roster. I don't know how many times you see teams win the Super Bowl with a lesser coach.
And to me, Ryan, I'm going to give a little bit of pushback here, but I think they go hand in hand. I think quarterbacks win Super Bowls, and the Broncos right now have so much invested in their quarterback right now, and they're getting nothing from him. So the Broncos are so far away from a Super Bowl with the quarterback that they had last year, but how much is Sean Payton going to help him? And honestly, what it boils down to, it's probably the combination of the coach and the quarterback.
And that's what I was going to say is it's the quarterbacks give you the opportunity to get there, but I think the better coached quarterback usually wins the Super Bowl.
So it's the combo.
Yes, it is the combo.
And
but
do the
let me just to circle back to the original point.
Yeah.
29 ain't helping your quarterback
That's
situation.
exactly what I was going to say. Is with this trade, 29 and a second next year is not going to help your quarterback situation.
I mean, it could help your offensive line or a running back, which could help your quarterback.
But what's going to have a bigger impact is Sean Payton on Russell Wilson. Then you can get a great starting guard at 29. And what do you get in the second round? Let's say Javonte Williams. That would obviously really help. But I think what's going to help more than those two starting players is Sean Payton.
And I don't necessarily disagree too much with Ian B here. Coaches get teams to Super Bowls, players win them.
Yep. And
you need everything to win everything.
Let's change it to players and let's go quarterback is really what that combination. And what is so big about this trade is not having to give up a future first-round pick. They know what number of first-round pick they're giving up. That's number 29 this year. Even if it was 15, I would still be okay with that because the scary thing that we found out, hindsight being 2020, was giving up an unknown first-round pick because it could turn into a top 5 pick as it happened with Russell Wilson. The Broncos are guaranteed to not be doing that next year. In fact, if they give up a top 5 pick next year with that second round pick, it's going to be 37. That's a way more manageable than giving up top 5.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. The picks are almost done. You're almost done dealing with the picks. Like what you're missing this year is that you could have gotten a starting tackle. Like you could have gotten a starting tackle with that first round pick. Yeah, I mean, you should have been able to.
Starting lineman.
I think there's a tackle there. I think
fair.
First round you look at tackle, second round you look at guard or center.
You're probably reaching to get a tackle there.
We'll see where things fall. Yeah. Everything changes for the next 2 months. But starting tackle is what you look at right there.
And Hank, you mentioned how the Broncos are almost past losing all of their picks. After the show, I give you a little bit of pushback. But one thing that Sean Payton's going to have to do and have to prove his worth, and maybe why, if he's truly worth 5 or 6 wins this year, why it kind of brings it back to 4 this year, is because he doesn't have a first-round pick. He doesn't have a second-round pick. He has 2 third-round picks, and they're both later third-round picks.
I think they're pretty early.
I think they're 86 and 89 or 89 and 92.
I thought they were 67, 68.
Oh, okay. Well,
but I could be wrong.
That would help. But regardless, he's going to have to make do without having some assets this year. And so that's why I think Luke McCown probably hit it right on the head. 4+ wins, with kind of expecting 4, 3's the bar, and anything above 4. If you're getting to 10 wins, that means you're doubling your wins from this year. I think is a fantastic place to be, and honestly, a realistic place. You're giving up a first, a second, and $17 to $20 million a year is what the initial reports are of Sean Payton's contract. And when we're recording this, right around 12:30 Mountain Time, the deal has not been finalized, but they're getting really close.
That's interesting. Just that the deal hasn't been finalized.
I think it's because they didn't want to finalize the deal before officially getting the trade done. So what I heard was everything was in place. It's just the crossing the T's, dotting the I's.
And flying him out.
Yeah.
And flying him out to actually
Not
sign
sure
it, too.
about that.
Call that swords
Yeah.
where I'm from. Anyways.
You're from Boulder.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
This is very what's the word? English football of them. Because there you get you get a transfer, so you pay for a player, but then you have to negotiate with the player to get so you have to get both sides to sign off.
But I guarantee you, if there was a chance that this deal wouldn't get done, they wouldn't have made the trade. It's going to happen, and that's why we've been talking about it for 48 hours as it was going to happen. And if you think something's going to happen in the world of sports, bet on it over at DraftKings Sportsbook, because if you're that confident that it's going to happen, then bet on it. Ryan, can you pull up the Broncos' odds of winning the Super Bowl next year for me right now over at DraftKings Sportsbook? Because I bet those are getting worse value. Is that how I say it?
Yeah.
Sure.
It's getting worse value because of the Broncos getting Sean Payton. You can bet on next year already over at DraftKings Sportsbook. You can also bet on the Super Bowl. They already have Super Bowl props up. I mean, they already have like 150 Super Bowl props up over at DraftKings Sportsbook. So if you want to get in on those, you can do that. If you want to get in on the Nuggets or the Avs, you can do that. And if you place a $5 bet on the Super Bowl, you get $200 in free bets, which then you can use on the Super Bowl. You can use on the Broncos for future bets. You can use on the Avs or Nuggets, and make sure to get in on the same game parlay for the Super Bowl. They're going to boost your parlay. If you get up to 10 different legs on a parlay for a same game parlay for the Super Bowl, they're going to give you a 100% profit boost. So let's say you make a bet that's plus 1,000, they're going to boost it to plus 2,000. If you bet $10 on that, it's $200 in profit right there if you win. So check them out over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Make sure to use that promo code DNVR. Make sure to see our show notes for details. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void in Ohio. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
And also go to FOCO, because they have all sorts of really cool Broncos stuff and stuff for other teams as well, if you're interested in that. They have bobbleheads. They have tumblers and tote bags and Henleys and hoodies and all sorts of other stuff that are perfect for you to wear or for your man cave or whatever else. They have a massive selection, so that's pretty awesome that they have just about anything that you could be looking for with the Broncos logo on it. And if you use the code DNVR, you can get 10% off all non-presale items. There's a link in the description below the YouTube video. There's also a link in the description for the podcast as well.
Really quick, Ryan, I asked you to do a little homework project for me in that ad break. You did not. So I did it myself.
Okay.
You're just putting the team on my back here.
I was doing other homework.
Broncos plus 3,000 to win the Super Bowl in 2024.
Plus 4,500 yesterday.
After they hired Sean Payton.
Wow.
So just showing you what that almost cut in half.
Yep.
And that is tied for the 10th best. Guys, the Broncos finished with the 5th worst record in the NFL this year. Now they have the 10th best odds. Show you that Sean Payton bump right there.
Absolutely. Really quick here. There are 1,000 people watching this show. 300 of you have liked it. That means there are 700 available likes, and we only need 200 of you to get Henry to shotgun a beer.
Matt,
So
I'm impressed with you, Matt.
Yeah.
we need your help. Let's go. Let's get it done.
I don't think there's a chance, if I'm being honest.
Wow.
15 minutes left. I feel
He's
good.
Throwing you
I
guys
feel
Henry
good.
says you guys
under
can't
the
get 200 likes in
bus.
15 minutes.
I don't think
Henry
I
has
feel
not
I'm
learned
safe.
his lesson. I learned it on Friday. Ryan, you learned it yesterday. Let's make Henry Suffer?
Yes. All is possible through the chat.
Yes,
I'm
really
about to
is.
make about 100 burners just to get this. To
Not enough time.
oh,
Not enough time.
I already got
Kind of
50.
hard to
I
make
can
burner YouTubes because you have to like create an email address.
Yeah.
You know
I didn't
what?
realize they were owned by Google until we started on YouTube. Well, I guess it's been a
YouTube?
couple of years.
Wow.
That's been
Yeah.
a long
Yeah,
time.
welcome to Earth.
Yeah. That's when I like made like a YouTube account and all that
Did you
because I
hear
had to
that
like
the
this stuff.
Broncos traded for Russell Wilson? And they hired Sean Payton as their head while also trading for him?
Yes.
There we go.
I have
Now-
to
now
say,
you're caught up.
Okay.
last
yeah.
night I was just thinking like, wow, if you had told me a year ago right now that a year from now the Broncos will have Russell Wilson as their quarterback and Sean Payton as their coach, I would be so happy.
Oh my
You would
gosh.
not think you'd get 30-1 on a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that is for sure.
Very true.
Sadly, one of those things, the excitement has been stripped away, but doesn't mean we can't get it back.
Really quick, in this past year, the Broncos have received Sean Payton, Russell Wilson, a first-round pick, a fourth-round pick, a third-round pick, a fourth-round pick, and Chase Edmonds in 3 deals. Here's what they've given up in those 3 deals. 3 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, 2 fifth-round picks, Bradley Chubb, Shelby Harris, Noah Fant, and Drew Lock. Regardless of how good the Broncos are, they are always in the news, being busy. That is an insane amount of movement in a year.
It is.
I think there's a whole lot more on the way too.
Oh,
I think
let's go, baby.
like I just don't think they're running it back with this roster. Like I said yesterday, I have the most players under contract in the NFL next year. And I think you see at least one of the big names get moved.
Yeah. So our friend Mile High Mario Vitanzi put out on Twitter yesterday, and he knows the players well, that he expects the Broncos to trade a player who they have asked to restructure who said no. A big player.
How
A
about
starter.
that? How about that?
Interesting.
I can't wait. And I'm so happy that this coaching search is done because there's so much to talk about this team moving forward. Now there's even more to talk about, and now we can start talking about those things moving forward, and we're going to have so much of that conversation next week.
Yeah. And if they're saying no, though, that's not a restructure. That's just a pay cut, probably. Like just a straight up pay cut,
Could be.
which is weird.
Yeah, it could be. And Henry, you, I think, dug yourself in a little hole here. We have got
No.
a huge boost in likes, so keep hitting us with those boosts.
We're 47 minutes in.
Because we are
Not
asking
enough time.
the people to help us out by hitting us with likes. So why don't we turn to the people and answer some of their questions, talk
do
to
it.
them. First one coming in from the Mr. Bernardi
Bernardi.
3 says, cheers to turning the page on this painful coaching search and Henry getting this shotgun and looking forward to the positive offseason coverage. Go Broncos. Thank you, Mr. Bernardi.
Yeah. This offseason is going to be so much fun. It's
yeah.
going to be
Just
so
like
much
they
fun.
all are, baby.
I can't wait for the Sean Payton film room. I don't know who's working
Yeah.
on it, but
The thing is, I already wrote.
We're all looking
Yeah.
at you,
I know. The
Henry.
thing is, like, I already wrote the whole thing and published it, but there's no clips in it because it wasn't a film room. It was just like what to do. So I'm not sure if you go
Then
back through
half
that
the work
clips.
is done
yeah.
already, right?
Clip it up,
Yeah.
baby.
I
Let's-
just need to
let's
cut a
do
bunch
it.
of clips.
I have one clip for you that I used on Twitter this season, which was Sean Payton successfully running the fullback
Oh,
option.
yes.
True.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
He ran it at least twice on big downs.
Yeah.
You know what the Broncos have tried to do this past year, which I will give you this advice, Henry. Work smarter, not harder. You know, trade your assets instead of having to go and do the work in
search for
order
'em.
to and search for them. Just trade. So you already have the work done. Just throw
Find a
things
bunch
in
of
there.
clips.
Yeah,
Find a
there-
bunch of
there-
clips.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just copy and pasted 2 tweets that I had about Sean Payton during the search. Just reposted them because
Wow.
the ones that I posted during the search weren't talking about him as if he was the head coach. It was
Right.
like, if he is the head coach, they would be getting this. Now I was like, well, that's out of context now. So let me just take that.
Just change 2 words.
Yep.
There you go.
Wow.
The what I just read you about what the Broncos have done in the past year, it's in tweet form already. Just repurpose that.
Yeah.
There we go.
Smarter, not harder, baby.
Next one coming in
Hopefully
from.
the coaches take that and don't spend 3 straight weeks holed up in the facility.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
Please. We talk about that every year. You don't have to put in 120 hours of work a week.
You don't have to act like you're in a standoff.
Yes. No.
Sean Payton will in the early going. He's got a lot to learn in this next month before free agency.
He looks like he's spent some late nights in the facility.
Yes.
I also think he knows how to have that balance for being a coach in one place for 15 years.
Yeah.
True.
I wouldn't mind if I heard that he was grinding out of control, just to like reassure me that he's he's truly in.
Yeah.
This is a guy coming out
There's
of
so
retirement.
many big decisions.
Just remember, he doesn't have a first-round pick, doesn't have a second-round pick. That does take some pressure off. Does take some work off.
For sure. I mean, third-round picks, that's all up to the scouting
That's
staff.
GP.
Yeah.
If they wanted first-round picks, they could get them. I'm confident.
For some players, yeah, we'll dive into it for sure. Garth Knight says it would have tarnished Tom Brady's legacy to be a Raider under Mark Davis. I think he knew that regardless of the MMA meatheads trying to get him there.
Wait, who are the MMA meatheads?
I have no
then?
idea.
I missed the storyline.
Raiders fans.
I might.
Wow.
I think Dana White might have recruited
together.
him.
Oh, Dana
White was
did
going
say,
after him.
Oh,
I think
really?
he reported it.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
He's like, Tom Brady's going to the Raiders.
Wow. It is nice that they're just screwed now. So they can try for Rodgers.
They can get Matt Castle.
Well, maybe they knew.
I'm sure.
Maybe they knew that Tom was going back because did you hear the report? I think it was 2 days ago that they have not allowed Derek Carr to seek a trade. So maybe they're saying, oh, whoa, Tom's not leaving. Neither are you, Derek.
Don't back down, Derek. They've done you wrong. It's time to leave.
And he's the one with the option in his contract that gets to exercise that, I believe, on February 15th. So, I mean, talk about the Raiders thought that they had him by the call. He has them right now.
By the balls.
Wow, there we go. Yeah.
Wow.
Devontae Adams worries me in this situation, though.
What do you mean?
Like
Aaron Rodgers.
I just assume he. I just assume he would be telling Derek, like, bro, I came here to play with you. Now
Yeah.
they want you back.
That's
You
true.
can't leave.
Yeah, that could be the case.
Everything Derek Carr said, though. Well, he hasn't said anything. That's the thing. Like, people have asked him about how it's going with the Raiders and all that stuff and what's like. And he's just like, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut about all of it. And all of it just implies that it's very similar to the way that Josh McDaniels was in Denver, where it's like, I think Derek Carr and Josh McDaniels just totally hate each other at this point. Like, I don't even think there's a decision to make.
Well, there was someone came out and said, like, no one's ever talked to Derek the way that
I'm sure.
Daniels was talking.
I'm sure.
Well, I mean, did you see Derek Carr's tweet? Was it yesterday that he got invited to the Pro Bowl?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is way more deserving than Tyler Huntley. No disrespect to Tyler Huntley. But Derek Carr's, because the Pro Bowl's in Vegas, he was like, I'm excited to have one last, send off in Vegas. So, I mean, he's like, this isn't how I wanted my last game to be, but here we go. Let's go, Vegas.
Guys,
Wow.
you're worrying me. We're short on time. We need 128 likes.
I told you.
Let's do it. Cody's pushing the way, and Donnie Walker
Don't
chiming
let
in.
Henry be right for the third time since August.
Donnie.
Hey.
Donnie says, not to be a downer, but how much faith do you have in Sean Payton staying in Denver if Russell Wilson proves to be booty cheeks?
We'll see what the numbers. Well, actually, we might not see what the numbers look like. We'd probably get the years on the deal. Maybe the money. I doubt we get the money.
We will.
You think so?
Both sides are going to
Vic-
want it out.
But
Vic
then
put
why
out
does it
5
never come out?
years, 17 mil a year. That's what Vic put out.
Huh. But
He
again, like,
phrased it in an interesting way. He said it's being reported. So I don't know if he's actually reporting
Yeah.
that.
Who knows?
it would be more than that anyway.
But I do think everything's going to come out with this.
I think
do.
they'll just be highly incentivized beyond that. Like 17 mil a year with the option to earn 30.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Maybe.
just like we found out for Big Dunk, there's, extra incentives in all of these deals.
Big Dunk was dunking today.
He was! Oh my God, dunking on Denver!
Yes. Well, not Denver specifically, but a Denver reporter.
Yeah, see, what? Because after that Denver reporter dunked
on
on
him.
him. I mean,
Yep.
if you're getting dunked on and then you get an alley-oop and some guy's right up, you're going to absolutely slam it down. Come on.
yeah. The point is though, that it's going to be like 6-7 years, and it's going to tie him to Denver. Like this will be the last place that Sean Payton coaches. You would think, unless there's something crazy that happens at the end. And because of that, I don't think he's just going to run.
I think there's even something bigger than that. Sean Payton, if things don't work out between Sean Payton and Russell Wilson or one of them, it's going to be Russell Wilson is the one that's out the door
totally.
quicker than Sean Payton. So I'm not worried about Sean Payton leaving because Russell Wilson's bad. I think the bigger question is like, if the Broncos are in cap hell in 5 years, then does he leave? Mm-hmm. That is where he would leave, not because Russell Wilson doesn't work out this year.
Yeah.
Garth chimes back in, says, when I thought the Broncos wouldn't get Sean Payton, I dogged on him wearing visors in a dome. I apologize.
Wow.
Well, he's not going to be in a dome now, so you can appreciate the visor.
I've seen some pics of him wearing normal hats, and it just looks so much better. Just go back to being a normal hat guy.
No, you have a brand. Like that's what Sean Payton
people
is.
talking about, like, Anthony Davis has got to keep the unibrow. It's part
No.
of his brand.
When I think
That's
of
worse.
Sean Payton, though, I don't think of like the visor isn't like the first thing that comes to mind. Where I'm like, he has to wear that because that is him. I don't think of that.
I do.
What is it with coaches and visors? They're the only people still trying to make this happen.
Very true. I did that in, I think, 3rd grade.
He should go with, like, the Nick Saban visor. You know, the big sun visor.
Yeah. Because that's unique.
I like this.
Next one coming in.
Steve Spurrier probably more famous for this.
That's true. But not as good for Coach. Tristan.
108 likes. Come on, let's
There
go.
we go. Tristan says, celebrating Sean Payton hire all the way from Jacksonville, Florida. Let's go, Tristan. Let's
go.
Yes.
Generation times Broncos Country says, is it ex-Broncos
Generation
Country?
X
Ex-Broncos Country.
Okay.
Says, I drank all the Kool-Aid last year on Russell Wilson. I'm going to hold my expectations back a little this time. Denver Broncos for life.
Makes sense.
I can't blame anyone.
No, absolutely
I will
not.
say what will change. What the first opportunity for the Broncos to get me, like, all the way on the hype train will be training camp.
I'm happy you didn't say the opening press conference.
No. Training camp this year was actually concerning.
It was.
And we shared that on the show. Like, someone said, I remember someone during the season tweeted at me and was like, you guys were out of control with the hype during training camp. I'm like, go back and watch the shows.
That's not true.
We just kept saying, like, yeah, Russ was average. We literally had him rated from 1 to 5 every day. We gave him a 3, like, 12 out of the 14 practices.
Yeah.
And then one was
One
a 4 and
4 and
one
one
was
2.
like a 2. Yeah.
Yep.
And so if we go out there to this training camp and Russ is putting up 5s,
Yeah.
that's when I'll be like, all right, it's different.
It'll be different. It literally will be different. Yeah. So
It's
I'm right with you.
Free agency for me. If they actually go do crazy things, if they go get DeAndre Hopkins, if they go add 3 offensive linemen, if they go get Jesse
Andrews
Bates and put
Pete.
him, they trade for Andrews Pete. That's possible. Like if they really do turn over this roster, then it's a lot easier for me to get excited because it's not the same team as last year.
97 likes away and some more super chats
Wow.
coming in. Ian B says Broncos no longer have to manufacture or design a culture. Payton has the blueprint and ideas. Now it's up to the players to perform and ownership to support. Excited to see how this plays out. And Ian B, I take it a step further. It's time for these players to buy into it and mold to the culture or they'll be out. And then Sean will bring in his own guys. That could happen this year in free agency. It could also take a year or 2 for that to fully happen.
Again, if you want to reset the culture, Justin Simmons, Cortland Sutton, those are your captains. And if you really want to reset,
Justin is not the one that you want to reset.
No, probably not. But I do think that he is. I mean, I guess Pat Surtain is your most valuable asset, but just the way that Justin's contract works with other teams not having to pay too much and under control, I think that he. If you want to have a pick in the first round, there's an opportunity right there. And I think that's a conversation. And I don't think I would do it, but that is an option. Garrett Bowles is an option. You have all these kind of leaders on the team. If you want to reset the culture, those are the guys you typically turn over.
Is Sean Payton, I know the answer to this, but I want to hear you guys answer it. Is Sean Payton the biggest name head coach the Broncos have ever hired?
Like when they hire him?
Yeah.
Yes.
Easily.
sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Mike Shanahan obviously turned into to that type of coach. Gary Kubiak, the legacy of Gary just being a Bronco is insane. But at the time of hire, yes.
Easily.
And it's very rare to get a retread who was not fired.
That's very true. That's why you had to trade 2 premium picks for him. I got this next question, and Ryan, you got the answer. Jordan Kennedy says, where can I buy a DNVR shirt or any DNVR drip?
Got all the drip. DNVRlocker.com. You'll actually, if you haven't been to that site, you'll be blown away by how many options there are.
For so
Yeah.
many different sports.
Hoodies, shirts, teams, everything. Hats, stickers.
Wow.
We going to make a visor?
No,
We should.
I'm shutting that down.
It's a Sean Payton. But you have to
That's
lean
what
into
I'm
Sean
saying.
Payton.
That's what I'm saying.
It would sell so well.
Did we just open the door a bit? Crack?
No.
Maybe?
You have a little Sean Payton
We have
caricature
a
or something on
brand
there.
to uphold.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, the brand is Sean Payton now.
If you want a DNVR visor, you're gonna have to do what our friend the Count did on
Wow.
Twitter yesterday. Did you see what he did?
Chugged a beer out
No,
of
he cut the top of one of his hats
Oh
off.
my gosh,
my
that
goodness.
is incredible. Did you also see he drank a beer out of a shoe?
Yeah, it's not the first time he's done that.
I love that.
I love it. We love you, the count, too. He asks again with another very generous super chat, so make sure you check out the DNVRlocker.com. Sweet Chili says, who do you think will be the next offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator? We're really going to dive into defensive coordinator tomorrow. The two big names, obviously, Evero, and then you also have Vic Fangio has now entered the mix as well. Juicy names, good coaches, and when it comes to offensive coordinator, the name I'll throw out right now is Joe Lombardi, but really, it doesn't matter. It's Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Bringing Lombardi back to Denver.
Well, we can dig in deeper, but I spent so much time last night going through all the different coaches. And what the Broncos have going for them is, first of all, they have the money to pay them well, but also it's really easy just to give them a title where it's like, okay, somebody's your assistant head coach. So you can make a lateral move because guess what? Now he's your assistant head coach. You have like you could go co-OCs. Like if you want to go get Dan Ruscher from the run game coordinator, tight ends coach from the Saints, give him the co-OC title, bang. And I think that satisfies they have to let him go rule.
Yep.
And so there's a whole list. There's some weird ones like Christian Parker, DB's coach. Mike Zimmer's out there. Ed Donatel just got fired. Vic Fangio ties. So I think that this could be an awesome staff.
I think we're going to disagree tomorrow on who the defensive coordinator should be.
Wow.
I've already made up my mind. So
Me
I'm
too.
curious.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
I'm excited to talk about it.
Me too. So
I
make
think-
sure to stay tuned for that.
I think the people are about to let us down for the first time.
Wow.
I think so, too.
And we did just get our first thumbs down. Maybe that's a thumbs down of disappointment. Like, I
Wow.
can't believe you guys are letting me down.
We need 75 likes in what, 2 minutes?
Man, we do.
Do you guys have questions on the website today?
We do.
We do
have
have
a
some
couple
questions
sweet.
on
We
the
can buy
website.
ourselves
Wow.
some time. And last super chat right now coming in from our guy Will Jock says, buying time for likes. There
Wow.
we go.
Appreciate you, Will
Literally
Jock.
buying time for
I
likes.
can't believe the people are going to let us down.
Wait, you guys, you're so close. 73 more likes. Hit us with that thumbs up. We really appreciate it. And Denver Rivals on our website, thednvr.com, says, hey, guys, hope is well. And in Paton, we trust. I just want to thank
Which
y'all
one?
for the support. Oh, you know which one. I just want to, you know, right?
A Peyton with a Y.
Yes, yeah, exactly, yes. Well, there's also Peyton with an A.
That's
with
also
a
an
Y.
A.
Yes,
Yeah,
you said.
A-Y.
Yeah.
Yes. A-Y, I see. I just wanted to thank you all again for the support at the DNVR Rivals program and one Avs watch party. We raised $350 for the association. Looking forward to the
Yes.
Nuggets watch party on February 25th at the DNVR Bar. Those that donate to the association's raffle ran by the DNVR Bar on the 25th will have a chance to win Nuggets swag and Jamal Murray signed basketball. Hope to
Damn.
see you there. My comment today
Ooh.
is at first I was excited but a tad curious about the 3 seasons Sean Payton went 7-9 with Drew Brees. I then discovered something that makes me feel so much better with him coaching the Broncos. The defensive ranking for the Saints in 2007 was 25th overall. 2014 it was 28th, and 2015 they were 31st overall. This current defense with little coordinator presence could easily be a top 15 defense. If they get Vic Fangio back, it'd be a top 3 to 5 defense. Also with DeMeco Ryans being the Texans head coach, do you think the 49ers would go after Evero for their new DC? I'm not so certain, but wanted to hear your thoughts. Either way, go DNVR, and glad we didn't get a subpar coaching candidate with no experience from the Walmart discount bin.
But if the Broncos want to, they could stop the 49ers from getting Evero.
If
Yes.
they keep him as their defensive coordinator.
Yep. If they
Yep.
wanted to, they could trade him.
Oh.
But we don't have time for that whole road.
If they hire someone else, though,
He would be allowed to get.
yes, exactly.
But they
So
could,
they could trade him right now, but the other team would be like, "Well, we're just gonna wait for you to hire the other guy."
Yeah, they're like,
Okay.
if you're gonna trade him, that means you're not gonna keep him, which means we're just gonna wait.
why don't the Broncos are like, we're happy to keep him.
Because if they're willing to trade him, they know.
But-
the 49ers aren't stupid.
unless they actually do keep him. Well, maybe they are willing to say like, "No, we will keep him,"
If you're going to keep him, though, then you're not going to trade him away.
unless you get a decent offer.
I wouldn't trade him. If you're
Yeah.
going to keep him, you keep him.
Yeah, probably. I do think though that Evero would be a weird fit with Ryans. Again, it's like the 4-3-3-4. Those schemes could not be more different.
Yeah.
You know, if you're trading Justin Simmons, I thought that the Texans are probably number one on the list. This is a weird day to talk so much about trading Justin Simmons, but
Yeah, you really hate him.
no, I don't hate him. But again, if you did trade him, that's a team that does run just like the true center field. Like, just let him sit back there, and that's DeMeco Ryans. That's not Ejiro Evero, so it'd be a weird fit.
Hates Justin Simmons loves the Chiefs, and you guys are going to let him
Yeah.
skirt
Oh,
away.
that's
my
not
gosh,
true.
let's punish
It's not
him.
true.
44 likes
Neither of those are
away.
true.
Mark IT Snatch says, "Dear Daddy Walmart or Malwart, thank you for having
That reminds me.
Thank you for having the guts to swing for the fences. You've keyed on the biggest pieces a team was missing and threw everything, the kitchen sink, the dishwasher, and the dad gum fridge to get it. You're investing in the culture of a franchise, the house it resides in, the people that fill it. You've combined the Nuggets mentality of not skipping steps while also taking the Dodgers approach of what's a price tag. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see if it pays off. With Sean Payton in the building, how much more attractive is this team for free agents?"
Much more.
I think for free agents, give it a year. I think next year, if Sean Payton has proved that he has turned around Russell Wilson, that's when it becomes a destination of guys will be willing to take pay cuts. Now, it's more attractive than it was, but I think next year is when we're really talking about discounts.
Discounts for sure, but in terms of a landing spot, like let's just say the Broncos want like a wide receiver 3 level player. Like you want, obviously you might have other options out there, but you want to play for Sean Payton. Like
I just
lower
think
tier
there's-
wide receivers go off in this offense.
I just think there's hesitation with Russ now,
For sure.
especially
Yeah.
for the receiver position.
I think what really helps is just people who've played for him before. So you have like Marcus Davenport and David Onyemata. David Onyemata? Yeah, David
right.
Onyemata. Bradley Roby, another Saint. Like there's a bunch of those guys.
you think Bradley Roby's a Saint?
He still is, right?
I mean, you think you just called him a Saint?
He's a
No,
Bronco.
he's not. I mean, well, he could be. I'm not gonna say he's not. Von Bell, another guy who played for him and is gonna be a free agent. So I think that some of those guys I don't know if they take a discount, but if they're offered the same, they might choose Payton over those.
Talking too many defensive guys. It's now an offensive team.
Oh
Let's
no,
change our mindset
totally.
here,
But there aren't
guys.
as many of those guys available.
Next one from Bronco Tiz says, "Welcome to Denver, Sean. Now it's easy." Okay, now he puts abbreviations next to everyone. Sean Payton is SP. He says George Payton is GP and Peyton Manning PFM.
That's
He
what I
says,
said.
Okay.
one question. Is Sean Payton really the first Broncos head coach with a Twitter while head coach? I doubt Wade had Twitter in 1993, and he was an assistant in 2015. Still can't figure out why he blocked me. Nathaniel Hackett had a Twitter account for 36 hours.
Are you serious?
Yes. And
How did I forget about that
I was
already?
kind of caught in the drama of it. I may have kind of shut it down unintentionally.
Wait, what?
So when Nathaniel Hackett was hired, and he flew to Denver, this Twitter account popped up, and it was Nathaniel Hackett, and there was a video where he was deep in the Broncos building, but it wasn't him. But I mean, it was like a view of his office, and the account was blowing up. And I did some digging, and I was like, "Is this his Twitter account?" And someone with the Broncos very close to him said, "No, that's not his." So I tweet out, "That's not his account." And then I was getting messages during his press conference being like, "This is his account. Like Matt LaFleur is following him. This is his account. It's real." And I was like, "Shit." So right after the press conference, I went up to Nathaniel Hackett and said, "Is this your account?" And he said, "No." And then his wife came up to me and said, "Yeah, that's his account. His manager is running
my
it."
God.
And so his manager opened an account without him knowing, and then 12 hours later it was gone. So I don't know if there wasn't
What a
communication.
story.
Yeah.
It's not Jerry
25
Rosberg,
more
man.
likes.
Let's
Come
go,
on.
baby. 25.
All right, 24 more likes.
We're at an
We
hour
have
and
like
8 minutes. Just
four
throwing it
people
out
in this
there.
room that maybe
How many
haven't
comments? How many
liked it.
comments are left?
I do have to leave very soon, so we got to get this.
How many
we gotta
comments
get
you
this
have?
going.
Next one from Nash Bronco says, "Those crazy sons of beeps did it again. They got the best offensive mind available
Again.
for what I would consider to be good value despite all the noise. I think this is a slam dunk hire. Guys like this don't become available often, and when they do, you have to swing like the Broncos did for the other Manning a few years ago. I'm not saying it will be perfect, but I do think this will provide major stability, and once a new GM arrives, I think you'll see all three phases in step with each other. Also, yesterday's emergency pod was so fun. I hope we can break that record again when the Broncos win the Super Bowl."
Oh, that record will be obliterated when the Broncos win the Super Bowl.
It'll be broken before that, too.
Oh, somebody's unliked.
We've never had a playoff run since Ryan and I have been doing this.
Crazy.
It's
man.
insane.
Not
It's
even like a
insane.
late season playoff push.
No. With Drew Lock, they had, I
we
think,
out yet?
one game where Drew Lock was relevant, and we are 11 likes away, and we've got a super chat to hit. Darth Schwartz says, celebrating Sean Payton from Tampa, Florida, where visor hats are a thing. Give me a visor, please. Henry would look sexy in a visor.
Appreciate that. We'll make it, and I think that's it for today.
We have 2 more comments on the website. Bronco Tiz says, Bronco Tiz says, and really quick, 8 more likes away from Henry doing this. We can do that in 2 comments. There was one more
Someone
thing.
get this beer ready for him.
No.
Did
We're
you
not
see
there
the
yet.
Broncos sort of Twitter announcement yesterday? The adding to cart visor.
Yeah,
Yes,
shake
we
it up.
did see that. We talked about it, and man, it was great. We are 4 likes away, and the beer is cracking. And as Andre's getting that beer cracking, we gotta get one more like. We're gonna do it, and we got
There it
one more comment. 500.
my God.
Let's get that beer ready. And Cosmo Kelly's going to end us out here. He says, what kind of offensive schemes and plays should we expect now?
I wrote 2,500 words on this on the website.
Not only is Henry going to deliver us a shotgun right now, but Henry is also going to deliver us a film room where he's going to incorporate those 2,500 words and put some clips to it. So let's get this beer going. 512. You guys are the best. We love you. And we'll be back tomorrow as I'm hearing a beer
I know
crack
that sound.
open. Wow.
such garbage.
Ryan, I embraced it last week. You embraced it this week. Henry, just a Debbie Downer,
Oh, we
man. Here we go. Let's go, Henry.
Make sure you stay in the shot.
3, 2, 1, go. Let's go. There it is.
That's way longer than me.
Oh, and Henry's leaving. He's done.
All right, that's gonna wrap it up for
fantastic.
us. Shout out to the comments.
I'm all wet.
Tune in tomorrow. Thank you all so much for the love and support. We love you right back.
See you tomorrow.